Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm. In this video, we're going to build the desktop wallpaper together. Now, it's important to understand that you don't have to do exactly what I do in this design. It's completely up to you what kind of design you make. I'm just going to kind of mess around. I actually don't even know what I'm going to create yet. I'm just going to kind of freestyle it. This is going to be fun. Who knows? This may be a complete disaster, and I don't know. It's kind of fun going in with no plan. You don't have to build exactly what I build. I want you to build something that shows off your understanding of color theory, and I'm going to talk you through my thinking process in picking colors today, and we'll talk a little bit about color theory as I'm going through the design. All right, so the first thing I need to make sure I pay attention to is that this is going to be a 1920 by 1080 design. 1920 by 1080, that is HD. That's 1080p. That's the HD. That's like, the standard resolution for HD movies and TV. And it's a pretty good size for a standard desktop wallpaper. So I'm going to create over here in Photoshop, I'm going to create a new. Make sure you set it to pixels. Some of you have been having an issue when you go to Photoshop and you create a new design. You go to build the design and then you see an error that says that the scratch disks are full. What that means is you may have accidentally kept your unit of measurement here as inches and you put in like 6,000 inches. And so Photoshop tries to create this giant, large, huge document, and you just don't have enough space on your hard drive to actually store that document. So make sure you're paying attention to these options when you're building your design. So here we're going to go 1920 by 1080, and we're going to keep it 72 pixels per square inch. And with color mode, let's set it to RGB and 16-bit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and create this. Now, really, before I get into the design too heavily, actually, I'm going to shrink myself here a little bit. Whoop, there we go. Before I get too heavily into the design here, I want to actually consider, I want to make some considerations on color. So what I'm going to do, let's take a look at swatches. Let's do this. I'm going to go back to my web browser, and I'm going to go to Adobe Color Wheel. This is a website that allows us to generate templates, or what are we calling them now? What are they? Palettes. That's what I'm thinking of. Palettes. And to be completely honest with you, the only way I got there in my brain was I was thinking Bob Ross, Joy of Painting, Bob Ross, palette. That's what it is. So a color palette is essentially just the different colors that you're going to use within your design. And so it's important that you imagine what your color palette is going to be. And this Adobe Color website, color.adobe.com, will really help you figure out what color palettes you want. Now, when we get into color schemes, over here you can see that there are many different color schemes that you can choose from. If you're trying to create a design that is more, kind of blended, a design that feels more harmonious, then you can pick like a monochromatic color scheme here. And then these will be the colors that you use in your design. If you're looking for something a bit more stark, something that jumps out at somebody and grabs the attention of the person you're making this for, you probably want a complementary color scheme. And then you want to find, some colors in there that look really good together. Now, the thing about complementary color schemes is that these are colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel, and they're so different from one another. They actually grab the attention. They grab the attention of the person looking at them, right? Blue and orange is the most common complementary color scheme you'll find, especially in films. You'll see, really, really blue sky against like really orange skin. And orange ground, right? And that's a very stark contrast between colors. It draws everyone's eyes into the design. Let's see, we can explore where we can look at, all kinds of different color palettes that have been used effectively in designs. We can look at trends. So there are a lot of different trends in design. Design goes through a lot of different, I guess trends. That's a good word for it, but it's more like, what's hot right now. Like, it goes through a lot of different phases, and sometimes things are really, really cool. Other times, people are like, oh, that's played out, that's old. In here, you can kind of look at what trends are being used. And you can see examples in the designs. And let's see. And then my libraries. I don't think I have any palettes saved here to my libraries yet. Web Dev 1 assignments, maybe. My library, no. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to pick maybe a triad. Maybe I want to do something monochromatic. And I'm feeling purple today, right? Maybe purple? Is purple what I'm feeling today? Or maybe like, ooh, that's a really nice color. Let's go with that. I'm going to go with a monochromatic color scheme that kind of looks like this. And what I can do is, I don't know why I have this web dev assignments. I'm going to just save it to my library. And I'm going to save this as my desktop wallpaper color scheme. And I'll click save. Now, theoretically, when I come back into Photoshop, I should be able to import let's see. Where is my I don't see it in here anywhere. Pretty sure I could libraries? Oh, there we go. It's over here in libraries. So if you can't find libraries, you can go to Window and Libraries and you'll find it. And then I'm going to go to My Library, and there's my color library. So I can like just bring this in. Come on. Or add it. Do I hit the plus? Let's add all. Oh, nope. That I don't want. All right. So what I can do is I can just keep this open, and then I can just click on the colors. Notice that the color that I have selected down here is changing when I click the color, right? Okay, so let's think about what we want to do with the design. We have our color figured out. Now let's think about the design. I want to create a gradient in the background. So I'm going to grab my gradient tool. That's not it. Is it the paint bucket? Yeah, there we go. Gradient tool. I'm going to play around with the I think I want, no, let's do a linear gradient. And let's change the color. So I want this dark here, but over here, I want it to be this lighter. I want it to not go that light. All right. Yeah, that looks good. Click OK. And then I can just kind of draw this in wherever I want. I want it to be angled like that. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Maybe, no. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. So far, not too bad. Now I want to bring something in here to kind of like fill in this design. Let's bring in, I don't know, cool guy. I have no idea what's good. Oh, wow. There's so many of these. Look at this cool guy. That guy is super cool. Oh, that's not bad. That's a little depixelated. Let's do, that's not terrible. Okay. It's only 900 by, well, 2800 is pretty good. Let's go ahead and save this. Save image as. Sure. And again, honestly, I have no idea where I'm going with this. So I'm just kind of free forming here. I'm just kind of goofing and seeing what happens. Oh my gosh. Look at what happened here. So It looked like it was a transparency, but it's not a transparency, so I'm going to have to actually cut this guy out really quickly. Let's go ahead and... Oh my gosh, I hate it when they do that. Let's grab the quick select tool, and it doesn't need to be a perfect composite. I just need to get rid of... Yeah, I need to add... Yeah, I know. I just need to get rid of most of the area around him. And I'll clean up the rest of that with a brush here in a minute. All right. Well, didn't want to cut out his neck there. So let's do this. Let's just grab my polygon or my lasso select tool. Here we go. We'll cut this piece out. Then we'll go back here. And this is definitely not the best composite I've ever done, obviously. This is mainly just to save you guys years and years of watching me finding the right element for my design. Let's grab my eraser here, get rid of all the artifacts. Ooh, and part of the guy's suit, apparently. I'm really not being as careful. And his ear. I just cut his ear off, just like the movie Reservoir Dogs. Have you ever seen the movie Reservoir Dogs? It's a good movie. It's one of my favorites. Probably shouldn't watch it, though, because it's very rated R. But when you're 18 and you know, pay taxes and stuff, definitely watch the movie Reservoir Dogs. It's a good one. Okay. Again, this is going to be kind of... Now, I have an idea of what I'm going to do with this guy. And once you see what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, it's, you know, you'll realize why the compositing isn't really that important. I want him a little bit off center. I don't want him to be exactly in the middle. So I'm going to do a little off center. And let's see, should we do an adjustment layer on him? No, let's actually just use the color change tool. Where are we? I always forget. Here we go, color replacement tool. And let's use this one. Is my brush way too? I have him selected. I'm going to have to use an effect on him. I'm going to have to use a solid color. And we're going to use that guy right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm effectively going to brush out everything that's not him. Let's lower the opacity here so I can see where that is. All right. And we're going to brush out everything that's not him so that we get this like kind of purplish overlay on him. get a smaller brush, smaller eraser, and do some more of the fine detail work. Nothing too crazy. This is not going to look pretty. I can tell already this is going to be a bit different than what it felt like or what it looked like in my head. But you know what? We're going to do what we can to salvage this and make it as good as possible. All right. And a little bit smaller of an eraser so I can get even more fine detail. Now look, again, like I said, I really had no plan for this design when I started. I have a pretty good idea of where I'm going with it now. And it may not work out. It may look like garbage, but you know, we'll kind of see together. The important part is that you learn how to use color, how to import the color libraries properly. And, you know, maybe get some ideas on what you should do for yours by watching me do mine. We're almost at 17 minutes-ish, so I'm actually going to finish this up. Okay, so now that he's there, I'm going to delete my Mr. Clip Art, and now I have a nice purpley silhouette. And what I can do is duplicate this layer and move it over slightly, say about there, and we're going to change the color. This color is going to change to, where is it? Okay, yeah, shut up. This color is going to change to this. And I need to erase the edge of that right there. But let's duplicate it again. Move that over a little bit. And let's change that color to, I don't know, that. That looks good. And really, I'm just kind of farting around at this point, people. I'm just kind of messing with it. Let's change that color to that. All right. So now I can tell I have some artifacts and stuff to clean up. Let's go ahead and do that with my eraser, which seems to be eluding me at the moment. I'm going to make sure I have the mask selected. All right, and let's make the eraser bigger. Now, at this point, it's pretty good. It actually looks a lot better than I thought it was going to. Looks pretty good. And I could actually add some more to this. I can add some text over here if I could think of a really funny, witty saying or something to that effect. Or, you know, if yeah, that's all good, right? Okay. Or whatever. But you know what? Honestly, I don't want to waste too much of your time. The only reason why I'm really still messing with this is just because I'm kind of obsessed with getting this to look exactly the way I want it to for now. Okay, that looks pretty good. And again, this is a monochromatic color scheme that I've used. You can bring in any kind of color scheme and you can do whatever you want with it. You can make all kinds of cool shapes and you can do all kinds of cool, you know, design something cool and abstract and fun. You know, don't use somebody else's artwork. That's the whole point of this. Try not to just bring in somebody else's artwork and make something based on what they've done. You know, make something your own. Make a different thing. Make something that you've never even tried to make before. Just explore, experiment. You know, come up with something that's completely unique and your own. and that shows off your masterful use of color. All right, when you're done with this, export it as a PNG and you'll be good to go. Thanks for paying attention, and I'll see you next time.